Normally I do these rants at night. I'm not doing it at night today. I'm on my way to Flashpoint, Lubbock, Texas. You know, it's really weird. I live in Texas. And I said, it's in Texas. If I'm going to go to, I live in Dallas, so why not? It's to be easy. It's a 5-hour drive. I might as well be going to Florida if I was going to try. I thought I was going to just drive there, drive home. Forget it. 5-hour drive, so I'm flying. That's how big Texas is. I'm flying to Texas while I live in Texas in order to do something in Texas. Anyway, I wanted to talk to you about the Trump trial. And the reason I haven't done any broadcasting is I get so upset that I feel like I'm in the flesh, if you know what I mean, and just trying to be edifying, and then, well, let's just say the indifference of so many Christians. Well, let's see what happens. Like Trump is kind of some kind of like a cartoon character. This is a human being who is being put through the most brutal psychological. They're trying to break him. Your enemies who will come after you and crush you are trying to break him. And they're trying to do it 4 different trials. And the American people, I mean, I don't know, we got protests on campuses over stupid stuff like gays for Hamas. Why, you know, that's a classic one. That's like babies for Satanism. I mean, so here you go. We got nobody protesting Trump's trials. I mean, it's really weird. I just think conservatives just they are the source of all stability in America. Whether you hate them or love them, they're just, I mean, a riot is going to be the summer of riots. It's the Antifa, BLM, activism, getting ready to go. Half of the people arrested are all activists. Then you go back to the funding. Oh, how much is the Tides Foundation, Rockefeller, Soros? We know all that, but we're going to go after Donald Trump in 4 different cases. Why? Well, because he filed documents in Florida in an inappropriate way, Lance. Prison for him. And how about Stormy Daniels? Well, he paid a check to cover up an incident or an accused incident that he says he didn't do, but the porn star, whose credibility is without a doubt unquestionable, this 2006 incident that happened that long ago, she suddenly found it monetarily stimulating around the time he was president to make some money off this. All right, fine. Whether this happened or didn't happen, he tried to cover up an indiscretion. Let's say that she's right. She's wrong. She's doing what's been done to him several times, like the idiot charge that he had in New York that he had to pay $80 million from Jean Carroll because she suffered some psychological trauma because he said she was a nut job for accusing him of molesting her when he didn't even know who she is in a dressing room he'd never been to. Point is, the trial in New York, he loses that one for $80 million. Then he loses $400 million on the second trial. You don't think he's going to lose this one? This one comes with prison. This one comes with jail. And that's the reason why I'm upset about it. Well, they'll never do that to Trump. Never underestimate the destructive toxicity of the left. If they could actually be funded to tear up American cities, and nobody goes after the funders, and nobody goes exposing who the organizations are that are doing it, trust me, there's enough evil in America that they'll lock this guy up unless there's some kind of moral authority that pushes back in a way that we haven't seen yet. But I need to let you know what's going on. I need to let you know that. I only have 120 people online now. This may not be what you want to hear today. You can go find Happy Talk. Most Christian channels will give you positive things to think about while you're entering the tribulation. So, here's what's going to happen. This judge who is against Trump, Democrat judge, along with his Soros-paid DA, in a jurisdiction that the Democrats set up because 83% of people vote Democrat, so their jury pool is at least 83% anti-Trump, or they're married to or have a brother-in-law or an in-law or somebody who is like, hey, what's going on with it? You know, and they can't go back and face them and let Trump off the hook. It's 93% in Washington, D.C., by the way, which is why they wanted to put Peter Navarro in Washington. They want to get Steve Bannon in Washington. They want to put you in a district where they pack the courts like they're going to do with the United States if they win the next election. All right, basically, this judge is going to stretch out something which should have been 4 days. It's a simple up and down paper thing. Did he file a check to protect his reputation under the right account? And did he disclose it? The Democrats are furious because he got away with putting it in such a way that they could make it a campaign issue. And so now they're coming back for vengeance because he pulled it off. He was a wily coyote, and he put this check in a category which didn't have to disclose the incident, didn't have to subject it to part of the debate over his whether he's qualified to be president or not. So it's an accounting question that they want to lock him up for, where the check was, how it was filed. Got it? It's not about whether he had any relationship with Stormy Daniels. That's not what's on trial. What's on trial is how the check was categorized. All right, so here's the deal. It should be a 4-day case. The judge is going to drag it on for 5 weeks. Why? Because all of the salacious details they could squeeze out of Stormy Daniels, they want leaked to their media press. They want to beat Trump up in front of his family. They want to beat him up in front of America. They want to make him as embarrassed and as beaten down. They want to drive him to a stroke. They want to give him a panic attack. They want to threaten him with prison. They want to tie him up so he can't run. He can't be on the campaign trail. He can't possibly win. They try to get a conviction, a loop around his neck, so they can say convicted felon, convicted felon, convicted felon in their Leviathan news media, which is an echo chamber for the idiots that can't come up with original material, so they go to Media Matters to get their talking points. So the judge is going to drag it on for 5 to 6 weeks. He told them, the Judge Marchand said, I don't want salacious details in the court. Then he proceeded to let the prosecution nod, wink, wink, go ahead and give all the salacious details. Let's talk about everything that you say happened and every detail we can squeeze out of the story. And the judge didn't stop them. Now here the judge says, I don't want any that's not germane to the case. Why would he want all that crap to be said in the court? So the jury, you can't unhear what you just heard, ladies. The judge will say, strike that from the record. That's irrelevant. I've been in these court systems. I've been in the juries before. Ignore that information. Okay, yes, the guy that was arrested was snorting coke at the time he was arrested, but ignore that, strike that from the record. That's not the case right now. Yeah, he was snorting coke, but ignore that. You can't ignore it once you've heard. That's why the judge wants all these women to hear, he says he denied it. Oh, he did it. He says he did it. That's not the trial that he's under, but that's the trial that they want in the brain of the jury. You get what they're doing here? They're going to string this thing out as long as they can, 5, 6 weeks if possible. Now, obviously, this is going to be where the appeal is going to come from because Trump's attorneys are smart. They're going to say, the judge, just let him go on and on. Now, unfortunately, the appeals court says Trump's defense didn't really protest enough. Well, they probably should have. They probably just should have been a disruptive force. Like, stop it, that's salacious. Stop it, that's salacious. That's irrelevant. But they didn't. So they just dragged on. The second thing you need to know is Stormy Daniels says really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because what she says, whether it's a true or false story, is not what the trial's about. The trial is about 2006, how the check was filed, not whether or not the incident happened. The third thing is, I don't know if you know this, but they're bringing in like the Inquirer. They're saying Trump paid to have this story blocked. Well, what you need to know is there was a guy named Dino Saludin, who was a doorkeeper, an employee at Trump Towers. And he cooked up a story that Donald Trump had a mistress and a love child while he was married to Melania. Now, he goes to the National Enquirer, and he says, I'm going to come out with this story. So the National Enquirer, with Donald Trump, here's the guy's coming out with a story that, his name is he said that this girl Judith was pregnated by Trump and had a child, and it was totally a lie. So the Inquirer checks it out. This woman denies it. She said no such thing. Doesn't even know Donald Trump. The guy's just a con man, and he's trying to collect $30,000 for his story. Trump paid it. Trump paid the Inquirer to not print the story. You know why? Because every day these guys, the media will take the allegation. It's like Trump. I hate to say it. You guys are good Christians. I hate to bring your brain into the defilement zone of what the media and politicians and your intelligence community does, but since they're defiled, remember Trump having the urinating prostitutes in Moscow? The story that came out, Trump gets the story, the dossier from Comey, who plants it on Trump's desk so that he could call CNN and say, hey, I just gave him he just now knows about the allegations. Trump now knows that it's on the open about the accusations of his collusion and the story of prostitutes urinating on a bed in Moscow that Barack Obama once slept in. Yeah, like Trump is a germophobic, is going to have people peeing around him. Didn't matter. That story went around the world because America's idiotic press and State Department could care less how stupid we look in the world so long as they can destroy their enemies. Well, the reality is Trump and other people, Bill O'Reilly, other people that are in the media will pay in order to have stories like that killed because the stories get put into media by their enemies at critical times like elections. Or like when your program's up for re-airing. And the negative press, I know how these guys, I know how Christians are. The negative press scares away the conservatives, scares the Christians. Oh, we don't want to be associated with it. I don't know if it's true or not, but now might not be a good time to be. So they will kill, what my point is, they're bringing the Inquirer in to say, you bought stories just to quench on Stormy Daniels. And, okay, so he bought fake stories, too. So the truth is, the fact that the Inquirer buys stories, sometimes they buy them to intercept them so that they can lock them up in a non-disclosure. And then they get reimbursed by the client, I guess, that says, hey, thanks for blocking that lie, but I don't want it in the media right now because something else is going on. It's going to hurt me. See how the game is played? So how do you pray with something like this? Well, I think, first of all, you should prepare yourself for the possibility that Trump may spend a day in jail. I don't think he's going to spend a lot of time in jail. I think there's an appeals process. There is a campaign. It's an extraordinary situation, but the Dems would love to have that picture of him having to go to Rikers Island and have to do a day there. And, how does that work? He's running his campaign from behind bars for a day or two. He's got the Secret Service with him. He still has protection. That's an unusual thing. They go in with him. A lot of questions are going to come out of this, but do not put it past the devil to want to introduce that level of instability to America. Then you've got the Antifa riot machines ginning up for the summer of love all over the United States. You could expect an escalation of violence and erratic, crazy behavior funded by the left, supporting the Democratic Party, and I believe it will backfire. It'll backfire big time on Biden, who already has a chunk of his butt missing from RFK, who's latched onto him like a Doberman. He's just pulling away the independents. And the money in Vegas, my Christian Vegas, is, hey, well, we don't bet, but we wager bets. We never pay each other. But I'm a betting man in this sense that I don't see how Biden could possibly be on the ticket. They know he's losing. But if they can lock up Trump, that's their game plan. You say, well, that'll never happen, Lance. You got to wake up and realize the level of ignorance and the level of evil that you're up against. Justin Trudeau, Twinkle Toes Trudeau, that narcissistic prime minister to the north, which is a canary in our northern coal mine, has just passed a law and proposing that social media people like myself, if I was in Canada, like Jordan Peterson, can be fined, can be banned, can be taken off the air, fined, and put under house arrest, even wear an ankle bracelet, if it is found that they speak things that the government considers to be, categorized to their purposes as bad, evil, incendiary commentary. Like my commentary is incendiary right now. Well, what's worse is not future. They'll go back and they'll replay anything you've ever done. I've already had my stuff played in courtrooms already. I found out one lady went, for January 6th, they were playing my social media to explain the mentality of the people that went to protest and pray in Washington on January 6th. So they're going to go retroactive. Imagine it, rewind the tape like Chairman Mao. You said this, you said that 3 years ago. There it is in the court. Oh, he did say it. Oh, lock him up. That's where it's going. America is already a banana republic. It's a police state. When you've got Giuliani bankrupted, Peter Navarro, the trade secretary, in prison, going for Bannon, trying to lock Trump up, when will we wake up? Well, I welcome you to the Courage Tour. We're going to be in Michigan. It's going to take courage to say these things. It's going to take courage to awaken. But Michigan is a swing state. And boy, it's a weird state in this sense. It's got so much prophetic potential. Kim Clement and I went there for like 7 years and worked there. Kim more than me. Bam, 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 bam. And the weird thing is, The Republican Party's all shattered. They can't get in unity. The churches struggle to get in unity. Not surprisingly, there's a big spirit of division, but the left seems to get along with each other because they love the power. We're going to have to learn how to come together for the power of the kingdom, the power of the age to come, and the power to administrate righteousness instead of lawlessness. You'll appreciate that fact if we have another COVID lockdown and Gretchen Whitmer is able to continue. Remember, that was the fake insurrection they had where FBI was so embedded with 6 like Bernie Sanders type fringe nut jobs in the basement that they worked these guys into motivating them to try to get a kidnapping plot so that they could say MAGA Trump followers are trying to kidnap Kahlua DeVille, the governor. And then you find out that half of the agents didn't know the other agents were undercover. It's hilarious, like a SNL skit. That there's only like 4 or 5 guys actually participating in the plot. The rest of them were all agencies that didn't know each other was an agent. It's a comedy movie. It's a movie waiting to happen. Even if they have to go a little loose with the script, it's hilarious. Anyway, that's the state of Michigan. Great prophetic potential, great revival potential, great for a move of God in America, but fragmented. So go to thecouragetour.com, go to thecouragetour.com/volunteer, because we already got like 3,000 people coming out into the fields. We got 45 acres out there at Floodgate Church right outside of Detroit, 30 minutes outside of Detroit. Come on and join us. Fly in like the Grateful Dead, fly in from around the country and just be part of this. I'm hoping the tent only fits 2,500. We might have to get the big 5,000 person tent. These events are glorious, and they're a bit exhausting because they're a combination of great awakening and rallies at their most fringy kind of spiritual element, because these activists that I'm bringing in are actually pastors and preachers and prophets and CEOs that are courageously stepping out to say what Christians have to do and America has to do to save the nation, the experiment that's being taken over. And I'm sorry to say, a lot of people, it's so gradual to take over. A lot of people aren't even noticing the danger of what's happening. Anyway, I want you to like and share. If you're courageous, I haven't said anything that's that bad. If you're courageous, you love America, and I want you to share this with your friends and get this message out on why the Trump trial is dragging on. They want the salacious details. The judge said, I don't want to hear any salacious details. Then he allowed them to do it so that the media can continue to torture Trump and beat him up. Stormy Daniels is irrelevant to the case, but they're bringing her in there in order to poison the jury and get the media all against Trump and embarrass evangelicals and Christians into, oh, he did what? So that's the story, Morning Glory. That's the tale, Nightingale. Share this with your friends. We're going to be at Flashpoint Lubbock tonight. I'll see you later. And go to thecouragetour.com. Make sure you're registered. We're going to do maybe one more, Wisconsin. Then we'll see if we do anything in Pennsylvania and Carolina. I'll talk to you.